always an awesome privilege to be in the house of the Lord on the Sabbath day. So, thanks everyone for coming out. I want to especially thank my colleague and friend, Tammy, for being here, and her lovely daughter and grandson. Thank you guys. Um, they know what it is to support someone who is grieving. And as I went through my own process, they were there. And I just want to give God thanks for Tammy for bringing, like you said, God timing is so amazing. The way He brings people into your life just at the right time. So God be praised. Okay, so this morning we're going to be talking about grief amidst the festivity. Grief amidst the holiday seasons, those times where, you know, there's a lot of celebrating and your heart might not be in a very celebratory mood. How do we deal with that? So, so I'll take the opportunity, as Pastor said, to introduce myself. My name is Marsha Durant-Walker. Love my name. Could not have had a better name. Um, I have a master's in counseling psychology, and this is just so that you understand the background that the information is coming from, with an emphasis in marriage and family therapy. I have an EDS in school psychology, and again, that kind of incorporates the younger ones a little bit more, and how it impacts their learning. I'm an elder at the Grace Place, the wonderful Grace Place. There's no place like this place. I'm a widow, so I am acquainted with grief. Um, I am the mother of two beautiful teens. Welcome to the teen years. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm a daughter. But more than that, I am a child of God, and I think that is what qualifies me the most to speak to you. So, we're going to take the opportunity, we're so few numbers, to get to know the persons in the room. So, we are going to introduce ourselves. So, we were going to do this in tabletop, but because we're so few in number, if we can just do it quickly, can we have one mic on this side and one mic on that side so we could get it quickly? So all I want you to do is you're going to use an adjective that starts with the letter of your first name to introduce yourself so that we know everyone that's here. So I will start. Just keep clicking. I will start. So I am mindful Marsha, right? And anybody if we have a mic on this side, go ahead.
I'm smiling Sarah.
Oh.
I'm timely Tammy.
All right. Jackson.
Youthful Yvonne.
All right.
I'm hopeful Hiveth.
All right.
And please use your
Try-
mic
try
because
to
we want the Zoomers to be able
Try
to
to
hear.
remember now. Anybody who could remember all the names.
Okay.
Peacefully speaking, Cheryl.
All right. So we're using let's come over here. Oh, and then they will come back. So we're using the adjective of the letter of our first name to introduce ourselves. Go ahead. Go ahead, Pastor, with the mic.
Camille.
Marvelous Myra.
Oh, come on now.
Friendly Philip.
Okay. We'll go to have this table and then we'll do Zoom.
Blessed Beverly.
Mm.
Right.
We could.
We can brainstorm with you.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Yvette. Yvette. Why? It's with the Y, though.
Same thing.
H.
There you go. There you go.
All right.
There you go. I take that. Young and beautiful.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, I'm joyful Jeanette.
Wonderful.
I'm Sweet Susan.
Ooh,
All
sweet
right.
you are. With the mic? Oh.
I'm interested in Ida.
Okay. Interesting, Ida. More?
Is there another one?
Meek,
Meek
Michelle.
All right. Animated Andrew.
All right. All right. So that's just to just give us a little time to know each other. Is there is
Eminent Irwin.
all right.
I missed the assignment while I was hanging up my jacket, so I'll be carrying Cheryl.
All right. Is there anyone who wants to attempt to call all the names? Or we save that for the next round? All right, so thank you. So we know some of the names of the persons that are here. You know I am big on being present. So we are going to make sure that we, and this is, you know, I always talk about be present, and I found a studio with the name Be Present, and so I knew it was God sent because I'm a be present person, and I just want to introduce my friend Beverly, who is here. She's one of my instructors at Be Present. And so we are going to practice, as always, to be present. So I want you to sit up, put your feet on the floor, put your hands in your lap, and we're going to just do a little bit of breathing. We're going to inhale for 4 counts, exhale for 4 counts, and we're going to do that 3 times. Because you know what? We live life kind of just rushing through life sometimes that we forget to be present. I miss my husband very much, but he used to like to take a lot of pictures. And if I asked him to capture something, and I mean, my sister Yvonne likes to take a lot of pictures too, but my husband would take like 1,000,000 pictures. And I was like, I don't want to just be taking pictures. I want to be present to actually experience what's happening, not just be caught up to, you know, taking a picture. So I'm very big on being present. And as a bride, I remember telling them one thing I'm going to do. I saw many brides who were tired and who was just, I said, I'm going to be present at my wedding. I'm going to be present. And I can tell you, I can remember every little detail because I was not tired. I was present. And I wanted to be present. So we're going to sit down. You're going to put your hands, your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap, and we're going to just inhale for 3 on 4 counts, and then we're going to exhale on 4 counts, and we're going to do that 3 times, okay? Sorry? Yes, there's is in the center. Okay. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. And as you're breathing, whatever is distracting you from being present, breathe it out. Whatever is causing you not to be in this moment, breathe it out and allow yourself to be present so that you can benefit from the experience. It is not by chance that you're here, that we're together. Be present so that you can benefit from the experience. All right. All right. So I'm going to just say a prayer over us again. It can't be too much, so just pray with me. Holy Father, we are so grateful that you are concerned about every aspect of our life. We are so grateful that we are here, that we got up this morning, that you spared us on the road, driving on this icy road, and we are just so grateful that even as we are hurting, even as we experience hurt in life, that you have promised that you are with us. And sometimes when we feel like we are so weak and we can't make it, we have the reassurance that you are with us and that you're carrying us. So thank you, and be with us as we go through this experience together. In Jesus' holy name, amen. All right. Okay, so disclaimer. The seminar is not intended to be therapeutic in nature. While you may experience some therapeutic benefit, the purpose of the seminar is to explore in a general, holistic way the experience of grief, especially during the holidays. Please keep in mind that no two situations is exactly alike, and therefore some things discussed today may be helpful for you and other parts may not apply. Okay? So this is not a therapy session. This is not an individual session where we can talk about what's happening to you or what happened to a friend in a very specific way. So we're going to talk generally, and some things may apply, some things may not. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So our objective. We're going to provide participants with a deeper understanding of grief and the impacts during the holiday season or even special occasion. Together, we are going to define what's grief, explore what grieving may look like, discuss why holidays are more difficult, examine the value of being mindful and compassionate towards self and others during this time, and also offer practical solutions and coping tools to navigate grief in an effective and healthy way. So we're hoping to accomplish all of this, and we will not be here long. So have no fear. We'll get it done and out of here. So definition. Anybody want to take a stab at it? Just keep clicking. How would you define grief? It doesn't have to be a Harvard answer. Anybody wants to? Just say what comes to your mind. It doesn't have to be a thesis or a, just. No, not you. We know you could say a thesis. I'm just saying.
Then I can't answer.
I know you have a thesis answer, but
I can't answer.
Just in case Jackson want to say something, I just want Jackson to know that he could say something.
Okay. So I think it's a period in your life where you lost something and you feel a heaviness.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Anybody else want to take a shot at it? Come closer.
I just want to say pain.
Cheryl, come closer.
Pain.
Pain.
It's one word, pain.
Pain.
Ache and pain.
Pain. Cheryl wanted to take a stab at it.
Me?
Long-term sadness that you can't get or seemingly can't get past. It keeps coming back.
Long-term sadness. Yes. Somebody online wanted to say something. I heard a
Suffering loss.
Suffering loss. All wonderfully good answers, so we're going to move. So, a standard definition is that grief is deep sorrow, especially caused by losing someone's death. It's a natural response to loss, encompassing emotional, physical, cognitive, and behavioral reactions. All right?
Quick question.
Quick question.
On that one. Because you say someone experiencing loss, but grief comes also from, when you say loss, it sounds like you mean someone who died, but grief can come as a result of a broken relationship, abandonment by a loved one. So,
well, it says deep sorrow especially caused, but not only caused by death. Yeah. Loss is not just death, but it's primarily, a lot of time when people talk about grief, it's surrounding death, but this is not. And as we go through, we will...
Yeah, because death may not be a person. It may be a thing. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Death of hope, yes.
So, what does grief look like? So we just mentioned briefly, and we're going to dig into it, the reactions And then we have stages. So usually when we talk about the stages, people think that you have to complete a stage before you get to another stage. And so the image was showing going up one step to another. That's not exactly how it works. So let's dig more into like the reaction. So we spoke about emotional, cognitive, physical, behavioral. And these are just examples, and then you could share what you see. So when we talk about emotional reaction, which is one of the reaction that we might see to grief, is sadness, guilt. You know, people feel responsible, anger, relief, sometimes numbness. So those are how the emotional reaction might show up. Cognitively, we have difficulty concentrating, disbelief, interfering thoughts. Physical, fatigue, weakness. I remember after I lost my husband, someone asked me to, what's a word I could give to explain how I was feeling? And the only word I could come up with was weak. I just felt weak. Like I wasn't tired. I just felt weak. I knew what I needed to do. Like at work, I didn't not do my job. I knew like what needed to be done in my cases. So I didn't have problem like concentrating, but I just felt weak. I knew what I needed to do, but I just didn't. I felt so weak. I saw my children hurting, and I felt just so weak to fix anything. That was my word, weak. So physical reaction might show up as weakness, a change in appetite, headache, loss of sleep were coming. And then the behavioral, social withdrawing, crying, restlessness, or sticking to rituals or routines that help us to remember the loved one.
This is my working out my own salvation. In tears and trembling here today. But one of the things you didn't mention that I suffered was suicidal. You know, I never had a day where I didn't think or plan a way to commit suicide. It was so painful. And it was not a death. No one died. I was abandoned in relationships, and it triggered this sense of worthlessness, this sense of nobody cares about me. Why am I occupying space on the earth? So I really want us to talk about that, because these are some of the things churches don't talk about. You know, we come here to hear a sermon, we come here to sing a praise song or a hymn, but we're not dealing with some of the realities. And I can't tell you how many times as a pastor I went home after a Sabbath worship and thought, how can I kill myself today? So I want us to talk about real grief, not just stories of grief, but real grief that affects. Thank God I'm beyond that.
Praise the Lord.
But I think we never know who among us may be struggling in a way. So this is why we do these community connections, because we want to let people know that God is concerned about their intimate parts of their life, and not just giving money to, you know, a hurricane or victim or something, but that he cares about us individually and personally.
Absolutely. All right, so these are just the reactions, and we are going to get a chance to talk at our table. So these are the reaction, and then we did see, so the stages, and these are not necessarily linear stages, meaning you have to complete stage 1, then move to stage 2, then move to stage 3. So the stages are like a roadmap. It gives you just kind of like a framework for you to understand. And the stages, so we spoke about the reactions. The stages are usually denial. Initially, when there's a loss, There is that lack of wanting to believe that it happened. um, then usually people tend to experience some level of anger in the whole process, whether you blame yourself or you blame the other person, or, I remember there are days I'd get up and think, I can't believe my husband left me in this. You think? The man wanted to die? I was like, I can't believe you left me in this. Then there's bargaining, and in this stage, you kind of like you're pulling up yourself from your bootstrap, like, all right, I could do this. Come on, I got this. If I just do this, then I'll be able to get through this. And so these are experiences people have, these stages. And I don't know if you've ever experienced loss or watched somebody who has gone through loss. And then there's a depression where you just get to the stage where you feel like you have no footing, like what's happening, lost. And then eventually you get to acceptance and you realize that this has happened, this is a part of life. But again, we talk about this is not linear. You don't complete one stage, then the other stage. So sometimes person get to acceptance, and somewhere along the journey, they're going right back to, I can't believe you left me in this. I can't believe you would get up and die, and all the plans we had, and then you come back to, oh, I'm so sad. So again, you might see somebody that you think after a while they are doing so well, and you thought, you think that, oh, well, they're at the acceptance phase. They understand that this has happened, and this is a part of reality, this is life. And so you feel like you don't need to support them anymore. You don't need to check in on them because you see that they're at this acceptance stage. But that's not how it works, because at any time something could trigger and they could go back to, I remember maybe like a year after my husband was dead, my brain tried to convince me that he wasn't dead, that he was away on a trip. And I don't know if you understand what it means to, like, for a nurse to watch your child being sick, for a doctor, a surgeon, to know that you have a person in your life that needs surgery and you can't help. Well, for a psychologist to have my mind telling me, like I seeing myself getting crazy and I'm seeing it happening, and it's like an out of body. I'm like, what? My mind trying to convince me that my husband was not dead, that he was away on some trip. And I'm like, what? That's not right. No, oh no, he's not dead. So I had to look at pictures, remind myself, look at all the stages, pull back up pictures, and force myself into thinking that, listen, get back to reality. This is madness. He's dead. He's dead. Don't do this. He's dead. So, and there are days you're good and there's days you're just not good. So just for information, so we're going to go to our tabletop discussion, 5 minutes, and we're going to put a 5 minutes timer. And I want you to talk among yourselves. Have you ever experienced any of these reactions? Have you ever seen anybody experience any of these reactions? Or do you have any experience with any of the stages? So we're just going to talk around our table. So we want to merge tables if they're... You want to go? Now you could merge tables. Okay, could I have the question? Could I have the question too? All right, we're gonna regroup. There will be other opportunities for us to continue sharing. Sure, oh, of course, absolutely. So, so holidays can be hard. Um, this picture is meant to depict, excitement, fun, jolliness, because that's what holidays are all about. And when you see this, there's so much celebrating and excitement in this, just how they decorate the word holiday, you know, it's supposed to be happy, but how do you go about being happy if you're feeling sad? You know what I mean? A friend of ours shared one day that she remember after losing her sister, she got up one morning and the birds were singing, and she thought, "How dare you sing? How dare you sing?" And my sister is dead. So that's one of the reasons why holiday is hard. It's this jolly, there's conflict in what is happening externally in terms of the excitement and the feel and what might be happening inside of us. So that's a part of where all this difficulty comes from. Holidays tends to intensify loss. It makes it obvious. It put a spotlight on it. And so we're gonna talk about, what are some specific triggers as it relates to the holiday. As you see, our demonstration decor is to show that there is some emptiness. So I'm going to show a small clip, and then we're going to talk a little bit from one of my favorite shows.
Why is there still a placemat there?
It's your father's seat.
But he's not here.
He's here in spirit.
No, he's not.
Shut up, Sheldon.
Chicken's good, Mary.
Thank the Colonel. I wasn't up to cooking.
11 secret herbs and spices. It's a delicious mystery.
Mandy, did you change the topic to fried chicken because my topic was awkward?
I did.
And is it awkward that I'm bringing it up again?
It's getting there.
It's not a magic chair. Anyone can sit there. And even if spirits existed, which they don't, they can't call dibs on furniture.
If I sit in it, will you please stop talking about it?
I suppose so. Fine.
No.
Don't do it.
Thank you.
So that's one of my favorite little clip because it's so real. The holiday makes what we lost obvious, right? Whether it is in a visual form, like an empty chair at the table that nobody wants to sit in because, but then, the empty chair means different things for different people. For some people, it is a sign of respect. We should leave a space for mom. That's where mom sit. Let's leave a chair for her in honor of her. For some people, it is merely, I'm holding on and I'm not at the place where I can accept yet that she's not there. And if the chair is empty, it comforts me that, who knows, she might show up, For others, it just means different things. And so I'm going to role play, and then we're going to talk about a little bit more. So we have one person. They say, "I am so glad that we were able to keep mom's recipe. It is exactly how mom would want it. The gravy, everything, it is so perfect. this is exactly how mom made it, and I'm so happy. And mom is like, mom always made the meanest turkey. Like everybody, remember when she entered that turkey competition? And then we have a next person that says, can we just have one meal without talking about mom? Can we just have one meal without talking about mom? Like, this is not mom's turkey. I just want to enjoy one meal, just one meal, just one meal without talking about mom. Would you think this person missed their mom more than this person? Does the first person miss their mom more than the second person?
No.
Maybe less. And that is just to demonstrate that people have to deal with their grief in different ways, right? For some people, they want to hold on to the rituals and the things that make remembering the person, keeping the person memory alive, very visual. For other people, that's too much. It's too overwhelming. They don't want us to use the same decoration. They don't want us to use the same turkey style. They don't. They need newness. They need something else. They need change. They need help, physical help outside to say, this is different. For some people, like I remember within the first week of my husband dying, I had to pack away like all the clothes. I know people, it took them years. Everything is exactly how it was a year later. Nothing changed, and they don't want it to change. And there's no right or wrong. It is what works for you, what is healthy, what helps you to get through the process in a meaningful way, not psychotic way, but it's what works for you. So there is no right or wrong. And nobody loves mom more or loves mom less because they want, if we don't want to use the exact same decoration, if we don't want to have the dining table set the exact way, it's okay. And those things are difficult, right?
The issue is that we're not taught how to negotiate those situations. And we always encounter them at the last minute when we're sitting at the table. So how do we get, what tips are there?
We're going to talk about some of those.
Okay.
So
my inquiring mind wants to.
We're going to get to it. But we just have to see some of the issues to see, okay, so some of the traditions that highlights loss. I have a friend that's struggling right now because she recently got married and her dad was not there to walk her down the aisle. So this is a special occasion that highlights the loss. All your life you kind of live and you're okay, but then you come to this big occasion and you realize there's this emptiness, the role that this person, and Pastor, you speak about divorce. It doesn't have to be death. But I remember when I just lost my husband, I don't do like the car stuff, I buy gas, drive. And I remember after my husband died, the first time I had to take the car to get it serviced, I was like, oh, yeah, I have to service the car. Like, oh, yeah. And I remember sitting in the waiting room, waiting on the car to be serviced, and I had like a million things to do. And this was not one of them that was important. And I just started crying because this is not something I ever had to do before. I mean, really crying. People here, they think the man just dead. I mean, the poor people in the place got so confused. They're like, oh my God, what did we do? Are you okay? But it was just because this situation made the absence real. And so even like in a divorce where, this person might be the person who spearheaded something, like I know a lot of wives get very confused when it comes to finance after a husband is died, because if the husband is the one that usually spearhead all the financial things, it's just kind of overwhelming to figure out where this is, where that is. So special occasions like holidays make the loss obvious, you know? And so another trigger why holidays are hard is that whole cheerfulness. Like you said, we don't get a time to navigate that until we're actually in the situation. So everybody's cheerful. And if somebody wants to not talk about mom, not want to be a part of the excitement, we have a problem accepting that, right? So persons also may not feel comfortable that they are not feeling very cheerful, as if there's something wrong if you don't feel excited or cheerful. But that's all right. We have to learn to acknowledge painful emotions without judging ourselves. You say, people drag themselves to function, not because they want to go, but because, well, if I don't go, people are going to think I'm sad. But if you're sad, it's okay. If you don't want to go and you're sad, it's okay. But a lot of people feel like, oh, I have to go because if I don't go, they're going to think I'm sad. Or if you actually do go and then you're not like, you don't have to be, and so that's you judging yourself, but also other persons. Let's say somebody actually goes and they seem happy or they seem excited, then you'll have people to say, didn't she lose her husband? Didn't her husband just die? As if like you don't have a right to be happy, you don't have a right to be cheerful. If you're cheerful, it's a problem. If you're sad, it's a problem. Like, hello world, what am I supposed to do? Right? So it's all of those things that makes the holiday kind of hard to navigate. We were going to share, but we're going to move on because we're going to get to a sharing. So now is when you talk among your table, and I'm going to give you some handouts, and these are the tools, the strategies that you want to have, Pastor. So Leandra, can I have the handout? Right. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So you're going to take the strategies from number 3, 2, and 1, and you're going to talk about, just talk about some of the things that we can do, some of the tools and some of the strategies that we can use. And then we will share openly. So we have 7 minutes to talk. 10. All right. Right.
Oh, you were talking about the grieving process. I was saying I lost my mom when I was a teenager. I lost my brother.
We're going to regroup in 10 seconds. All right. So thank you so. 1 minute. All right. So we're going to regroup and we're going to ask our groups just one point, one share point from each our group. And we're going to start with group 2. Just share 1 point so that everybody else could benefit. And you have the handout, so you saw the other strategies, but just share one.
I'll take the microphone.
No, we're starting with your group.
Oh. I'll take the microphone.
We're starting with your group.
Spokesperson.
She had the most to say.
Oh my, not on.
Share something from your group discussion.
Just your ritual. A ritual.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Well, in my group, people had different ways of doing the rituals or doing it in different ways.
So we're talking about one tool or strategies to create rituals or traditions in your family to honor the death of the person or the loss.
Oh, okay.
And so you're going to share one of the rituals that you do?
Yeah. To be specific, in my family, we decided to keep a photo of our lost dad in a frame whereby whoever wants to go back and check on him or see him, that's what we have, a frame, a picture of him.
Okay, and
That's
it's
what I
there
can share.
visible that everybody could see it.
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
But it's not put in the house because my mom says it brings her bad memories because he died in a war zone country, so she doesn't want to see that frame in the house. But whoever wants to see it, she has it in her room.
Okay.
You go and see it, and that's it.
Okay, good, good. Any other table had a ritual that they know of?
We have.
You have a ritual?
Yeah, we're talking here about giving ourselves permissions to rest and draw near to God in the situation. And we're talking about the need that we have to have private moments because it is not all about sharing or trying to be someone that we are not. And especially when you are grieving, we have to understand that we need that time to ourselves. And we have been discussing about that. And also we have to respect other people's privacy because sometimes a person needs that time. You know, we can be very judgmental. Even with a person in the church, we say, oh, that person is very quiet. If that person is a leader, it gets worse. Because, oh, why that person is not involved? But you never know. You never know. Maybe the person is going through a divorce. You don't know. Have lost a family member. You don't know. And we are very judgmental towards people. And that's what we're talking about. We have to respect this space, give it this space and respect this privacy.
Absolutely. So I'm going to just touch on the ritual and then I'm going to touch on this. So for the ritual, you persons can start a scholarship fund for a lost person. That's one way to keep their memory alive. Um, I know a lot, like in the schools, when we have losses, they ask that you plant a tree. So these are things that we can do, healthy rituals to keep the memory of someone alive. You know, you plant a tree. You know, a tree is always gonna be there. A memory. It could be a fruit tree. So not that we're replacing the person with a fruit tree as though the person is living in a tree. We're not gonna get crazy up in here, right? But we're just saying, as this tree is living and it's giving fruit, then you know the memory of the person continues to just live. Back to giving people space, I had a girlfriend who lost her husband some years ago, many, many years ago. He was murdered, and she had two young children at the time. The eldest was about 3, going on 4, and the younger was 2. And so I was away. They died. He died in Jamaica. I was living abroad, and I got a call that she's crazy. She's out of her mind. She says she's not gonna go to the funeral. She's not gonna bring the kids to the funeral. So took the next flight out, went home, went to see her because I just wanted to know for myself if she was losing it. She was in her very, very right mind. So in Jamaica, funerals are a big thing. No wedding top a funeral in Jamaica. No wedding. In addition to it being a big dramatic event, there is a lot of theatric that comes with a funeral, right, in Jamaica. You have to throw yourself on the casket. You have to, there's a lot of drama that happens. So when I spoke with my friend, she made it clear, listen, you see that? I'm not going to put my children through that madness. Because I can only imagine that somebody would come, and when they cry and tell a story, right? So they would go and they would hold a child and say, oh, his father, he don't have his father. And they would, listen, it would be such a drama. Listen, it would be such a drama. And so she made a conscious decision. And again, that ties into allowing people space to grieve the way they need to. So a lot of people could not respect that decision that she made, that she would not subject her children to that whole trauma, re-traumatizing them to this whole thing because of how people would behave, because that is how a lot of people behave at a funeral. Because it's, like back in the Bible days when they used to pay mourners, well, these are unsolicited mourners. And listen, they have to show how much they miss the people by how loud they cry and throw themselves down. And she made a decision as a mom that I am not going to put my kids through that. She was in her right mind. But when I got the call, it was like, oh, she's acting as though he's not dead. She's getting crazy. Da, da, da. She was not crazy. She was fully aware that he was dead. She just did not want to subject her children. But again, as people, we tend not to have that kind of level of respect to know what somebody needs. And again, even in this, and another point on this, being able to set boundaries and isolate yourself. Sometimes you're grieving and you do have an inner circle. Jesus had an inner circle. And sometimes you want to be with your inner circle. You don't want to be alone. You want to be with your inner circle, but you don't want to be with everybody. And that's okay too. So you might have a few friends that you pull close and you're okay being with them. I mean, sometimes I just need to rejuvenate and I just need to be with my sisters. I just need to be with my sister, but I don't want to be with everybody. And that's okay. And so we have to know what we need in a moment, and we need to be respectful and allow people to have that space.
What do you do when you don't have an inner circle? When you need to be with somebody who understands or some close people, but either you just don't have them or they're not nearby. You can't access.
But thank God for the technology that even though they're not nearby, they can
but
be
some
nearby.
people just don't have that.
True.
To support them.
What do we do when we don't have an inner circle? So, one, we have to be more intentional in creating our inner circle. Like there are people around. Like you have to make yourself available. The first vitamin to having friend is B1. So we need to be intentional in being friendly to create friendships, right? So, but that's a point. So if you don't have an inner circle, if somebody's listening and you don't have an inner circle, I pray that you will be intentional in creating a inner circle. There's someone online? Yes, Auntie Evans. Pastor behind you.
In regard to at the point of death and loss, coming to the realization that you don't have an inner circle, there is more that complicates the grief. But it also says something about the life that you've led that may have caused you to get to that place where you come to realize, my goodness, I don't have anybody. And what do you do in that moment? That's not the time. You don't necessarily start making friends at that point because you're in grief.
But you know what? God is faithful.
And so, yes, and so that's what one of the things I was going to say, that in the midst of that grief, that's another realization that you have to wrestle with, and hopefully that you could find support maybe in your church family or somewhere, but that's not necessarily the place where the time where you want to start in a circle.
And as you talk about your church family, we have to be intentional in getting involved in community, right? So church is one community. If you can foster a friend group in your workplace, that's one area. We go to our exercise studio together. You have to be intentional to make sure that you foster community as you sojourn through this life. We are not. I tell people, people who always harp on this independence. I don't know, independence is such, they should delete that word from our lives. I don't know what is this independent. The only thing we do independently is die. That is the only time that you cannot share with anybody in the moment. Death. We are not created. We are created to be interdependent on each other. So let us all be intentional. If you're not, start today to foster community. And I know, Doctor, you just asked a question, but I know you tell me about you have a walking group, that you have a group of ladies that you go walking, and maybe men, that you go walking with. So you see, that's been intentional to build community. Now, all of those ladies might not be in your inner circle, but you're intentional to build community.
It's just a little piggyback on what was said, that I think even at the time of grief, that's when people tend to extend themselves mostly to you. And it might actually be an opportunity, if you don't already have a circle, to start holding on to those people who are extending themselves.
Very good, very good. And then the final group, you will share one of the tools, strategy that you had.
I just wanted to add one thing
Okay.
quick. It goes on with what you're saying, and I think there's, especially for timid people, that's one of the reasons you don't have a group. But that's the moment where you have to you have the opportunity to take a risk and take a risk and build a relationship, at least a short-term one, with somebody who you think will be safe. And it's a risk, but
Love
there's where
is a risk.
you need it. There's the moments that you need it.
It's also a possibility of when to turn to a counselor, someone that you can trust, is a public friend.
Absolutely. Final table.
I was voted in.
Yay!
He said if I'm a friend of Marsha's, I must be able to speak.
That's right, that's right.
In 1 second, and then you can speak. So ours was preparing emotionally and spiritually for those difficult days. And I think one thing that we kept going back to was the setting realistic expectations.
Absolutely.
And looking at it from a different perspective not just from how we are grieving, but setting realistic expectation for others who are grieving, and how can we support them without judgment. And I think that was it.
Jackson
And
would like to
Jackson
say
had
something.
else.
Yes.
Oh, and you are hilarious.
Okay. I am. Okay. So,
Believe it or not, that's something we need in those times. Is a
thank you,
little-
Jackson. And I'm so grateful that Jackson is here. He's my little sweet button. So, birthdays are a big deal in my family. And so, for me, I know that when it's coming around to my husband's birthday, I have to be mindful. So, I wouldn't plan something. I do not test people's children on that day, clearly not. I might break down in the testing and start crying. So, I usually leave that day, whether I take the day off or I usually have, my regular stack of chocolate available. I usually have just a slow day on that day because I am mindful that it could be a very triggering time for me, and so I try to prepare for it. So we have to be mindful. You know yourself, you have to be mindful of that this time is coming up, and so you plan accordingly. So thank you all for sharing. And we have just about 15 more minutes and we'll be done, or less. And we're going on to the next slide. So this is, no, right. So this is one of my favorite quotes. And I saw this in a movie. And I never forgot it. And it was just around the time I lost my husband. And it's just stuck with me. And I find it so meaningful. It says that death leaves a hurt that no one can heal. But love leaves a memory no one can steal. And I thought that was just so beautiful when I heard it. And it is something that I keep, and usually around the death of my husband or the anniversary of his death, I will put this up because it is such a powerful reminder. So, but God. So the Bible gently reminds us that even in the deepest sorrow, we can grieve with hope. We're moving on, please. Or you could leave it up. You could leave the quote up. Leave the quote up. God is near, and his promises are sure. In 1 Thessalonians 4:13-14, he tells us that we should have courage not to grieve as those who grieve without hope. For through Christ's resurrection, we have the assurance that there is a life beyond this pain. God also promises a future, in the future, to completely restore. In Revelation 21, verse 4, he assures us that the day is coming when he will, not may, he will wipe away every tears from our eyes. We are assured through his word that there will be neither death nor mourning, and there will be no more pain. In the midst of hurting, God draw closer to us. And so if you don't have an inner circle, you have to know that you have a loving Father who will never leave you alone. It's against his character. So when you are hurting the most, know that he is with you. Psalms 34, verse 18 reminds us that God is near to the brokenhearted. So when your heart is hurting, his heart feels the pain. He is there to offer comfort, to provide strength, and to tenderly care for you through the systems and communities and help that he will send to you. God promises that it will not last forever. It will not. And I can tell you, if anybody had told me when my husband died that I would be here doing a presentation, I remember a year after he died, maybe a year and 6 months, somebody invited me to be a part of a singles panel. And I thought to myself, single? I'm not single. I'm widowed, single. But I mean, I was just so, ugh, I'm not single, you know? If anybody told me that I would be here, comfortable, talking, sharing like this, I'd have say a lie. So, the Lord has promised. It will not last forever. He will give us the strength, He will give us the courage, and He will send us the support to get through it. And getting through it may look different for different people, but know that He will be with you. In Jeremiah 31, verse 13, it declares that I will turn mourning into joy. So we have that assurance. These scriptures assure us of two things. One, that grief is real. It is real, but it also assures us that the presence of God is also real and cannot be discounted. But for a moment, I want you to think about this. Because maybe it hasn't registered. What a privilege. What a privilege we have been given to experience love in our lifetime. Who cries about something they don't care about? And the fact that we would have been allowed to experience the love of an amazing mom, a good husband, a loving friend. I have a friend who lost her son. He was 21, but he had done so much with his life. And even in his death, she said, it's almost like he kind of gave me everything. He kind of did the everything already. You know what I mean? So, what a joy. What a joy that amidst the grief, we would have been given the privilege of experiencing a love like that, that when it is taken from us, we miss it. Grief does not mean that you lack faith. The fact that you are grieving is not because you don't know God or you don't understand that God exists. It means that you loved deeply. What a joy, what a privilege. May God's presence surround us. May His words be steadfast and His comfort guides us through each season as we grieve. Let us be grateful. Grateful for having experienced and shared a life. I was married for 11 years. There's some people still waiting to be married. It wasn't enough, but it was a lot. And rather than mourn or focus on what I don't have, I want us to spend just 2 minutes as we listen to a song to focus on what we did have, what we did enjoy, that we did share, the many counsels, the love, the joy that we experience. So we're going to listen to this song, and I just want you to take time to embrace and meditate and be thankful for the love that you did share.